everyone, it's Moxie Property Management. Today we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking to you about the very taboo subject of evictions. I'm Angela Gonzalez and I'm one half of the ownership team here at Moxie, and I also serve as the property manager.
I'm Erin Landis, I'm the other half, and I handle the back office operations.
So a kind of bragging rights here, I think. Moxie, or myself, kind of this team right here. In the past 2 years, we have filed only 2 evictions on tenants that we have placed in properties. And I really credit our low eviction rate to the fact that our screening process, or the application screening, is very thorough. And so when I have owners that are calling me and their immediate concern is evictions, and they're telling me how many evictions they've had in the past 2 or 3 years at a particular property, I really start to question their screening process. How thorough is that? If they're not weeding out the bad apples in the beginning, chances are you're placing a poor tenant in the property from day one, and that's only going to turn bad at some point. So Erin's going to talk to you briefly about those initial steps that need to happen before the eviction filing takes place.
When we haven't received rent by either the 6th or 7th, depending on weekends and when it falls, we send out what's called a 3-day notice, or a notice to stay or quit, sometimes referred to that. And what that says is pretty much you pay this amount that's due by this date, otherwise we're going to file evictions with the court. So once we've done that, she goes and files with the appropriate court, and that's...
Yeah, so that 3-day notice generally allows me to file any eviction that's needed by the 10th of the month, roughly. And right now, and kind of historically, I'll say here in the DFW area, courts are generally scheduling those eviction hearings within 2 to 3 weeks of the filing. So we'll look at Tarrant County as an example. Tarrant County is divided into 8 different precincts, and each precinct has a different justice court, that's the level that those evictions are heard at, and a different judge. And so those 8 different justice courts are really 8 different personalities. So when I go to file, first I need to verify that I'm filing at the correct court. And then the second thing is I have to remind myself of those special quirks that each court requires. So some courts want to see that written 3-day notice to vacate at the time that I file, and other courts don't want me to show that or present it until I'm in front of the judge. Same thing happens at the actual hearing. So the eviction hearing, I attend on behalf of my owner, and I'm allowed to do that at the justice court level, not at the county level. But those 8 judges have very different personalities. Some judges require plaintiffs to read from a script, so it feels very staged and very school-like. I'm just reciting a bunch of facts off of a statement. And other judges really don't want to hear anything from me. They've seen the filing. If the tenant is present, they will listen to the tenant for a little bit and then basically let the tenant know, hey, you need to pay. If you pay, you stay. If you don't, you have to go. So I don't think, from my experience, that eviction court is really this terrible, horrible place to be. I'm very comfortable at eviction courts, but I also don't attend them regularly. So that's always a plus when it comes to property management. So if you've got any questions about evictions, especially here in the DFW area, get a hold of us at Moxie Property Management. Thanks.
Bye.